Instagram feed up and running. And we are ready to go. I am Coach James. I'm the creator and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics, which is a science program that uses Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about a range of science and physics-related topics, including but not limited to friction, force, aerodynamics, drag, lift, Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, kinetic energy, potential energy, elastic force, a whole range of topics. After we've covered all the science topics, and we have conducted experiments to drive home those concepts, then and only then do I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars. Each student has the opportunity to select a car they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything they've learned in the course. After they select their cars, they weigh their cars, they test the speed of their cars, they check the year the car was manufactured, the materials the car is made from, all of that information that they can observe, they put that into a spreadsheet, and then all that's left to do is race the cars. We set up a 1/64 scale quarter-mile drag strip, and the students race the cars, and they observe how their cars perform. Did their cars perform up to or below their expectations? And if they had the opportunity, would they select that same car again? Or would they make a different choice based on everything they've learned in the class? In the end, we have fun with Hot Wheels cars, and we learn science. What could be better? If you would like more information about our science course, All About Aerodynamics, all you have to do is go to our website, up there, aerodynamics.com, and you can find out all the information you need. Or if you're watching on Instagram, you can check the link in the bio. All the contact information is there, and we can discuss how to bring our course to your school or your organization or your special event. But this is not all about aerodynamics. This is all about Aerodynamics Presents Wind Tunnel Wednesdays. So on Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, we take the Funtech Labs 1/64 scale wind tunnel, otherwise known as the Windsible. We put Hot Wheels cars, Matchbox cars, sometimes some other cars into the wind tunnel. We turn it on and we see how the air flows over, under, and around those cars, and it gives us an idea about the amount of drag those cars are going to face when they race. Well, when do they race? Every Saturday, it's over there if you're watching on the widescreen version, every Saturday at 11 a.m. on YouTube and Twitch live, we have AtTheTrack.live, where I introduce new cars into our fleet, and viewers have the opportunity to select a car. Well, how do you do that? All you have to do is go to that address at the bottom of the screen, AtTheTrack.live. When you do that, you select the option that says choose your car, and you will be taken to this page. On this page, you will see all of the cars that are currently in the All About Aerodynamics AtTheTrack.live fleet. They are listed and organized and numbered, and this page has been broken up because we were just getting too massive. The fleet was getting way too big for one single page to handle. So I broke the cars up into about 6 different pages. And on those 6 different pages, it contains all of the cars. We are currently up to 1,035 cars in the fleet. Actually, more than that. We are up to, because I just made an update last night, so let me just jump over to that last page, and I will tell you exactly how many cars we have. We are at car number 1,039. It says 141. Well, actually, one car 140. There's a whole thing with the way that I store the cars, where cars that are really big I have to put in a different slot. So we have 1,040 cars to choose from. That means if you go to AtTheTrack.live, select choose your car, scroll through, find a car, then all that means is you have 1,040 different cars to choose from. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to find a car you think will be faster than the other cars that I introduce on Saturday, the other cars that other people have picked, and you want to win that tournament. You want to win that tournament and take on our fastest in fleet car. Just a side note, I was watching a video with somebody hunting hunting for Hot Wheels cars, and they came across a Prius. I picked this one up recently, and I wasn't too thrilled about this luggage rack thing that it had on the top. Turns out that there is another version, another Prius that does not have this. So that is the one that I am going to be on the lookout for next, because I have a feeling that this car would have performed better on the track if it didn't have this big luggage rack on the top. But that's not the point. The point is that is car number 1029. So if you decide that you want to see car number 1029 race, all you have to do is take that number, drop it in the chat. I will pull the car, and just like that, you will be entered into the tournament. If you pick a number or pick a car today, you won't be entered into the tournament. What you'll be entered into is the wind tunnel. We will take that car, we will put it in the wind tunnel, and we will see what it looks like in terms of its aerodynamic profile and whether or not it is likely to be competitive on Saturday. We have all kinds of cars. We have old school cars, new school cars, trucks, vans. We have character cars. We have premium cars. We have ID cars. We have some cars that are just kind of beyond definition and explanation. But we've got them in here. We've got this roller toaster. If for whatever reason you think this car, truck, delivery vehicle, toaster on wheels is going to be fast, then you should pick it. I don't, hey, okay, but it's up to you. Pick what you want. We will put it in the wind tunnel. All we know is that the car that comes out on top on Saturday is going to be challenging this car. It is the BlitzSpeeder. The BlitzSpeeder is in its fourth run as All About Aerodynamics at the Track champion, and it is the fastest car in the fleet. It has not really had much of a challenge. The Muscle Speeder kind of put it on notice this past Saturday, but not really. We had a Porsche in there. We had another car, the X-cceleron. We had a few cars in there, but none of them could match the BlitzSpeeder. The BlitzSpeeder is just pretty much the most insanely fast car that we have seen, but it has been beaten. The fact that it's a 4-time champion means that 3 other times it's been beaten. So I was just watching an older video of when the Dogfighter first showed up. The Dogfighter is one of the 3 cars that has beaten the BlitzSpeeder. So we're going to see if there are others in the fleet. Hey, Socks. Hey, Waymo ate my dog. Waymo ate my dog. Wow. Hey, Rough Shot. So we're going to see if we can find a car that is faster than the BlitzSpeeder. But today, what we're going to do is put the BlitzSpeeder in the wind tunnel. We're going to turn it on, and what we do is we get an idea about the kind of car and the kind of aerodynamic profile that's going to be necessary for a car to beat the BlitzSpeeder. So let's switch on over to the wind tunnel. And I can never remember. I think the BlitzSpeeder, we just leave it flat on the base of the wind tunnel, and I have some magnets that I use sometimes to lift the cars up just a bit. There we go, because they don't always stay put in the wind tunnel. So let's go ahead and lock this down, and that's exactly why I end up putting the magnet down. But with the BlitzSpeeder, I don't like using the magnet so much because it lifts the car up, and what we're trying to see with this one is the way that the air flows over this car, and it does it in a pretty interesting and unique way. Now it's set back just a little bit more than normal, but let's see what we can get. See if how cooperative the Windsible is going to be. So we get these airstreams flowing. Hey, Christopher, at 80 miles per hour And you can see that this is still relatively low speed, 94 miles per hour. That first airstream coming in, hitting the nose, and then it's moving up over the hood, over the windshield, to the roof line, across the roof line to the back, to this wing, and then it flows right off the back. There's not anything with this car that is disrupting the airflow, and that is ideal. That's what you want. Let's go ahead and turn the speed up, and you are seeing a little bit of turbulence right here at the base, and that is something to keep an eye on. Kind of goes away as we turn up the speed, but what we're looking for is any type of disruption to the airflow that will occur while the air is flowing over the body of the car. The BlitzSpeeder, we're up to 121 miles per hour. The BlitzSpeeder, what we see there, is pretty much ideal, 134 miles per hour. Is that this air hits the car and just flows right. It's like hugging the body of the car all the way across, and that is reducing the impact of drag. When we put some of the other cars in here that we're going to see later, you will see air building up at the front of the car. You will see it detaching from the roof of the car, and really it is the BlitzSpeeder has the absolute ideal aerodynamic profile. It's the best that we've seen on this track, and it's a reason why this car performs so well on the track. It is able to, if it can reduce the impact of drag, it can maintain more of its speed for longer, and that is what we see happening. The BlitzSpeeder just blows cars away. Other cars with bad aerodynamic profiles tend to slow down toward the back end of our track, and that is a recipe for losing. You really want a car that is going to reduce the impact of drag. That is the absolute most important force, that if you can reduce that, then you're going to be in a much, much better position to have a good outcome. And I see that, let's see, Christopher is going to go with car number 741 today and car number 792. Roughshod is looking at cars number 501 and 505. And with the BlitzSpeeder up to 161 miles per hour, that is just a classic BlitzSpeeder. It's the reason why it is and has been one of our fastest cars, because it's just that speed, the aerodynamics and the ability to reduce the impact of drag. We don't see that very often. But a couple of weeks ago, Roughshod picked a car that had what I would say is probably, next to the BlitzSpeeder, probably the second best aerodynamic profile we've seen. And it was a Porsche, but it was like a wagon. It was the Porsche Turismo such and such. Well, on Saturday we introduced this one. This is the, let's see on the bottom. It is the Porsche Taycan Turbo S, and it is a four-door car, similar to the wagon, but the back end is a little bit different, but it performed pretty well on the track. And so I want to see, okay, 501 and 506, got it. What I want to see is if this Porsche has the same excellent aerodynamic profile that the other one did. So we're going to grab this one here, put it in, and that's the thing. It's whether or not the Porsche has 4 doors, 2 doors. It is still has that very specific Porsche look and feel, and I might have to drop the magnet in on this one if I can't get it to stay put, and I can't. So we just drop a magnet here, a little round magnet right there. We set the car on it, and then it actually holds the car in place, but it also lifts the car so that it interacts with more of the air streams. So once I've got this lined up just right, just straight, good, lock this down and see what we see. All right, let's get to our cruising speed of 67 miles per hour. And we can see that the airflow is going up right over the hood, windshield, roof line, coming down the back. Let's see as we turn the speed up. What we're looking for is whether or not the airflow breaks off from the roof line right about this area. That's where you see it with most cars. But again, with this Porsche, we're not really seeing it. Starting to see it there and seeing it a little more as we turn the speed up. We're up to 121 miles per hour. And gonna push this up, and yeah, you can start to see, you can really see that separation now. And it's completely obvious and clear right here. That air is coming up, the windshield up, and then the roof line, and then just completely detaches from the body of the car. And that is not what you want to see. When that air detaches, that is an indication that you are going to have a lot more drag, because there's going to be turbulent air. Well, you see this turbulent air back here, but that's a kind of another matter. But when that airflow detaches from following along the lines of the car, you're going to have an increase in drag. You're going to get an area of lower pressure, and versus the higher pressure that's going to be building up at the front of the vehicle, and it's going to work against the car's forward momentum. And how much it has an impact really kind of depends on the car. But if you're taking on the BlitzSpeeder, and the BlitzSpeeder has reduced the impact of drag, and you have a car that is increasing the impact of drag, then it's going to be a long day for that second car. So this was the Porsche Taycan Turbo, and as I turn it up, the speed just gets worse. Just gets worse. And as I said, drag has more impact the faster an object is moving through the air. So the faster the car goes, the more drag has an impact. As I bring this down, you can see, when we're at those lower speeds, 80 miles per hour, which is where it is now, 67. Drag isn't as much of a problem or a concern. But once you start getting into higher speeds, then it's a problem. It absolutely is a problem. So that is Porsche. We also had an interesting race between these two cars. Let me switch over here. Switch this over. These two cars, the Amazoom, and we ended up with one Amazoom, the copper colored one, that is a metal body on a plastic base. Then we also had the blue one, which is a plastic body on a metal base. And it turned out, and so the weight is different in favor of the metal on plastic car. But other than that, other than those two, the materials and how they're placed, one on the One has the metal on the base, one has the metal on the body, and then vice versa. Other than that, these cars are identical, so it was a nice little head-to-head experiment to see which car would come out on top. And it turned out it was the Amazoom, this one. And we're going to throw this into the wind tunnel because it's kind of an interesting car because it's got so much, the front area is so big that it just seems that there's going to be a lot of air building up at the front of that car. So let's go ahead and switch on over and have this one just set here. And that looks to be, keep doing that. Just stay put. Just stay put. Now the question is, will it stay put? Well, see, I have it back too far. Will it stay put when I close this top? And the answer is no. All right, try it one more time, and then out comes the magnets. It kind of reminds me of in football on the kickoffs. If the football blows off the tee, they give it one or two chances, and then somebody has to come out and hold it. So we give the cars a couple of chances, and then we have to bring out the magnet. So what we're gonna check for is whether or not this, let's see, sucks. We want to see how the front lip. Yeah, so with this car, what we are looking at, and we're at 67 miles per hour. So this splitter here is pretty low, and that's actually good because it prevents more air from going underneath the car. I would have to raise this up on the magnet to really have that come into play, and I may do that. Pushing this up to 107 miles per hour, but we do see that air is hitting the front, and then it gets a little turbulent there at 107 miles per hour. We should get a little more clarity as I turn the speed up. The car is back a little bit, so we're not really getting a clear idea about what's happening at the back end, but as we're up to 134 miles per hour and 147, what we're seeing is pretty interesting. That airflow is hitting the front just above the bumper, coming up on the hood, up to the windshield, to the roof line, and instead of breaking away completely like we saw with the Porsche, it's coming down and then interacting with the wing. And beneath that, you see this bit of turbulent air right here, and that's pretty typical. But what we're not seeing is that air breaking away from the top right at the roof line. I'm going to slow this down, and I'm going to put in the magnet to raise it up, because then we'll be able to see how the airflow interacts with this front area of the car where the splitter is, and we'll get to see if the air does build up, because that was my kind of theory with this car, is that the air was building up at the front, and that ultimately was kind of slowing this car down a bit. Let's move it forward, and just want to get it, just got to get it straight. All right, got it. All right, lock it down, and let's see the Amazoom. I do like this car. I like the color, I like the style, I like the shape, everything about this car. I really like this one. As we push this up to 67 miles per hour, now we're getting more of that first airstream. Now that we've lifted the car up, we can see what happens when the air hits a little lower in the front area. So it's hitting that splitter, and I'm sure that some of the air is being driven underneath there, but we can see where it gets a little bit brighter right there, that air is building up in the front. So let's push the speed up jumping up to 107 miles per hour, 121, and we are still seeing pretty much what we saw when the car was, when it was flat, that we are looking at this air coming right up across the hood to the windshield, to the roof line, and right as it gets to the back, it's not breaking off. It's actually coming down slightly, interacting with the wing, and you see just below that, that turbulent air there, which again is typical in that gap between, on a more traditional car, the rear windshield and the wing. But what's important and what we're not seeing, and I'll push the speed up a little bit more, going up to 147 miles per hour, we are not seeing that airflow break away from the body of the car and go up like it was with the Porsche and some of the other cars. Usually right at the roof line. This is kind of the point where we, with the faster cars, the cars that are able to reduce the impact of drag, we see that airflow kind of staying low, either remaining attached to the body of the car or jumping all the way over to the wing, which is what we're seeing here. In cars with worse aerodynamic profiles, we see that airflow just kind of break away right in this area and create huge areas of low pressure, turbulent air, and ultimately create more drag and work to slow the cars down. We're up to 161 miles per hour. And the Amazoom, it had a good solid performance. The metal on plastic beat the plastic on metal version, and that is one of the things that I'm not going to say that we expected, but one of the things we were looking at. So that was an interesting experiment. So we've got the Amazoom. That was one of the cars newer to the fleet. And I don't usually like to have duplicates in the fleet, but what happens is if there is some actual significant difference between the cars, then I'll go ahead and have a duplicate car in the fleet. And this was one of the best examples of a difference, in that we had one car, we had the exact same car, but with different materials. Yeah, that wing socks, it says the wing, let me move this out of the way. The wing makes that streamline look so cool. Yeah, I really like this car, and I'm glad that it won its race and that it was different enough that I was able to include it in the fleet. There are a few cars that, well, actually all the cars, I either pick them up because I like them or because there's something else I think they can win. So this was one that I just really loved the car. This one right here, the X-cceleron, this is one in the other category. I picked this one because I thought it could win on the track, just based on the appearance, the shape, the design. I thought this would be a car that could compete and do pretty well. I think that it kind of suffered from some of the same problems that we've seen from some of the other hypercars, particularly that Cadillac hypercar that's one of the cars that I really like, but it's all metal. The upper part of the car, it's all metal, and it's bigger, it's longer, and it's kind of heavier. This one weighed in at, I don't think it was all that heavy. Yeah, it only weighed in at 31.7 grams, and I really thought it would do better on the track than it did. It's got the little airplane, kind of futuristic rocket ship design right there. It's low, but we're going to put it in the wind tunnel and see exactly what we're seeing, because one of the things that made me a little nervous about this car were all these little openings. The BlitzSpeeder doesn't have any openings. So a lot of the cars we see that are do really well on the track don't have these little crevices and openings and places where the air can get trapped. This one has these little slits underneath the wing and some little openings here and on the other side, and it's kind of hard to know how much of a role that played, but we're going to put this in the wind tunnel and see what we see. Christopher says he just picked up a mod mill. Okay. I think I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure I think we have one of those, but on one of the Hot Wheels channels that I was watching some races, I believe that there was a father and son. They were doing Hot Wheels races, and I think one of the cars that they raced was a mod mill. So let's get this thing in here, and I really, you know what, this one, this is one that's probably going to need to be lifted up because it's so low that I think only that first airstream is probably going to be touching it, but we will see. Raise it up if we need to. Let's hit our cruising speed. And at 66 miles per hour, we are seeing nothing. Oh, see, there goes the Windsible being temperamental. So we'll just give it a second and then we will fire it right back up because we need to see more than 67 miles per hour. We're up to 80, 94, 107. As we look at the 107, we are still seeing pretty much what we saw with the BlitzSpeeder. We're seeing that airstream. We're just looking at this first one. Hit the car, come up over the top, and flow right to the back. Nothing out of the ordinary. Will that continue as we turn the speed up? 134 we are at, and we are still looking pretty good, which makes me wonder why this car didn't perform better than it did. 147. I mean, it had everything. The back end was pretty flat. It's got the low profile. And I don't know. We're up to 147 miles per hour. 161 still looks good. But I'll tell you this. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to move this in a minute. Because right now, we're going right over the center of the car. But you see, in this above and below, where the front wheels are, there's an opening there. And right now, this air is not interacting with that. And then to the left and right of the driver's canopy, that blue area just in front of the orange, there's like little dips. And those were the areas that I was worried would impact this car's performance. So what we're going to do is slide this car just to one side so that we can see what happens when the air flows over those areas of the car. So let's see what we get. Push this over just enough. So now we'll have the line hitting right in those areas. So let me close this. And there's a little gray line that you can see, and that shows basically where the air will flow. And just need to make sure I got it. Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and fire this up, see what we see. See if it makes a difference in the airflow. we're at 94 miles per hour. And it's a little tough to see. Let's go ahead and push this up to 121 miles per hour. And and the air is definitely flowing into. It's flowing right across both of those areas, right there at that opening for the wheel, and at that area just to the left of the driver's compartment. Let's push this speed up. Jumping up to 147, now 161 miles per hour, and the air is a little more turbulent. It's very hard to see. I'm looking kind of right in this area. As the air comes up, it's hitting that hole just above the wheel. And it is being disrupted to a degree, and you kind of can see it right in this area. It's so hard to see. But that air is definitely kind of detaching just a bit. And yeah, so Christopher says he notices that the sides are indented just a little bit. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, this car, I really thought it would do better than it did. It wasn't terrible, but I expected more. This is one of those cars that I picked absolutely specifically so that, because I thought it could really compete. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab Christopher and Roughshod's cars, and then we'll take a look at those and throw those into the wind tunnel as the X-cceleron hangs around at 161 miles per hour. All right, we are going to turn this down. The X-cceleron. I'm going to have to go back and watch. I was watching some of the races from Saturday, and I don't know. I'm still kind of confused about why this car why it just didn't perform better, but that is how it goes sometimes. So we are going to check out one of the cars that Christopher is considering. It is this one. It is the Hot Wired, which is we've got a drag car, and it's kind of interesting. It's definitely from, I believe they're the Hot Wheels drag racing series, and it I like the fact that the front wheels are protected. It's got the skinny disc wheels, and it kind of goes along with this one. This is another one from that that group, the supercharged. So there's Hot Wheels fantasy cars that are clearly modeled after actual funny cars and nitro cars. So let's put the hot wired into the wind tunnel, switch on over here, and see if the hot wired, what we've got going on. Now, it's definitely got that open cockpit, and that is going to be interesting to see how the air interacts in that area. So here we go. We have it. All right. 67 miles per hour. And we have the hot wired, not really seeing anything unusual. Let's go ahead and push this speed up. Well, with the drag racing cars, we have okay, now I'm seeing some turbulence there as that first airstream hits the front of the car, and then all that, when you see the air just kind of fluttering around, like that's something we didn't see with the Amazoom. We didn't see that with the BlitzSpeeder, definitely. So let's go ahead and push this up. Oh, there we go. The Windsible is like, yeah, I don't think so. But that's all right. We're going to fire it right back up. But as for the drag racing cars, there's this one, the hot wired. There is the supercharged, the one that I showed earlier. And then it's 107 miles per hour. There is the actual NHRA Mustang funny car that we have raced, and all of those were all beaten by that John Force peak antifreeze Camaro SS that was made by that Racing Champions, some Racing Champions Mint, I think it was called, and then they're affiliated with like the Auto World series. That car beat them all, beat all the Hot Wheels cars. So yeah, this one we're seeing the airflow kind of come up right over the front, and it's just not really following along the lines of the body. It's interacting a little bit with that driver's compartment. And then you see this little turbulent air right here before it gets to the wing. But we can raise this one up on the magnet just to see, because this car is very low, has a very low profile, and therefore it can probably benefit from being raised up into the airstream a bit. See if we get any kind of different outcome, different results, different things that we can observe that might help Christopher make his decision as to which car he's going to roll with on Saturday. And we can go ahead and fire this up. We are at 67 miles per hour, and now we have that first airstream is actually hitting the right at the nose of the car. So some of the air is going beneath, some is going over the top. We're going to push this up to 107 miles per hour, and what's interesting is you can see some of the air kind of leaking out. It's the air that's going underneath is somehow getting into this area where it's leaking out here, and so you just see it kind of coming out here and then just kind of wafting away. But let's go ahead and push this up to 134 miles per hour, and that we're still seeing the same thing we saw at the lower levels, which is extreme amount of turbulent air right here, and turbulent air is going to result in, it's a sign that there's going to be a lot more drag. Push this up. Yeah, this is not exactly ideal, but maybe over the top you can see some of the air. That air that's kind of how it's interacting, right? It hits that driver's compartment, and that's kind of creating sort of the beginning of the chaotic airflow state that we're seeing. So that's at 161 miles per hour. I'm going to drop this down because that is not the only car that Christopher is considering. He is also considering one from a group of cars that we have a ton of, and that is the Batmobile. We have so many Batmobiles. I believe it's over a dozen different Batmobiles that are currently in the fleet. And Christopher, he didn't even need to see the Batmobile. He is going all in on the hot wired. So that is his pick. I'm curious, what did you see that what did you see from that pass in the wind tunnel that made you already lock in? I'm curious. There's usually different things that people look for, just depending on what they're looking for. But the hot wired. Okay, so we've had plenty of Batmobiles over the years, and we have them in the fleet. We'll go ahead and throw this one in there just to take a look at it, see what the Batmobile is bringing to the table. This looks like one from the from that early group of kind of 90s, 2000s, like kind of those early Batman movie years. Let's go ahead, or maybe one from a comic book or a video game. It's so many Batmobiles, and some of them just say Batmobile, and it's kind of up to the experts to decide which is which. The Batmobile, we've got it's at our cruising speed of 67 miles per hour, but Batman is always taking the Batmobile on the way to fight some crime. He's in a hurry, so cruising speed wouldn't be Batman speed. So let's go ahead and push the speed up. We have turbulent air coming out just on the sides. I'm seeing this sort of swirl as the air, well, it's hitting right at the front, coming up over the top, and some of the air is just breaking off. And let's go ahead and see if an overhead look provides us with any more. You kind of see right there on the sides that turbulent air. Not ideal, not what you want to see. Let's go ahead and push this up. And it looks like the air is coming up, hitting that driver's compartment, and that's where we're seeing all of this turbulence occur. If you look kind of right there in the driver's compartment, it's just a mess. Yeah, that is not, I think if I were going to pick a Batmobile, I think I would definitely go with one that had the whole canopy right up over the driver's compartment, as opposed to one like this where it is just pretty wide open. We're up to 161 miles per hour. And that is what we've got. And then next up, as I bring this down, we're going to get into cars Roughshod is looking at. And this was one coming up. Here we go. Right here. This was one that he had, that he was considering a few weeks back, and went with a different choice. This is, I'm pretty sure this is the Chaparral 2. Yeah, the Chaparral 2, which is a car I picked up at the die-cast swap meet out here, and it is metal on metal. It is compact, and when it last raced on our track, it was fast. And it was surprisingly fast, and I would not be surprised if this is the car that he goes with. I would not be surprised if this ends up being a car that's in the final. So let's take a look at it in the wind tunnel and see what we see. Switch over here. Metal on metal, Chaparral 2. Now, kind of like with the Batmobile, I'm a little concerned about the fact that it's this sort of open air cockpit, and what's going to happen? Is the air going to flow just over that windshield right to the back, or is it going to swirl around in there and create more drag? Oh, here we go with this. Come on, just stay put. Stay put when I close this. There we go. All right, let's fire it up. Chaparral 2. Chaparral. I know how to spell that because that was the name of the street that I lived on when I was a kid. And I was probably the only kid, other than my friends who lived on the street, who could spell Chaparral. All right. We have the air, we're at 94 miles per hour, and it looks like the air is just kind of just easing over that windshield and right to the back, and then right up to that spoiler, the back. So let's go ahead and turn this up. Turn it up. 134 miles per hour, and this is not bad. And I think this is why we saw this car do well in the past, is because one, it's small, but it's not light, from what I remember, and it's metal on metal, so I think the weight is going to be good. We're not really seeing any air as we push this up to 147 miles per hour. We're not seeing any air really breaking away from following along the lines of the body of the car, which is good. It's what we want to see. And yeah, this is a solid pick. But it is not the only car he's considering. There is another, as Yoda told Obi-Wan Kenobi, there is another. He is also looking at car number 506, which is interesting. Another interesting car. So that's the Chaparral 2. Chaparral 2 is, well, let's push this up a little higher. Going up to 174 miles per hour with the Chaparral 2. Not to be confused with the Chaparral 1, which I don't have, so I don't even know if there is one. I have never looked. But this is the Chaparral 2. Good solid car. And there was another one that raced about the same time as this one that also was a compact little car and did very well on the track. So it's not always just the fact that it's a smaller car does not take away from the fact that it can probably still do well on the track. It just needs some other things to be in place. So that is the Chaparral 2. And the other car he's considering is this one, the Avus Quattro. And this was interesting because I do remember this car. I picked it. This is another one that I picked up at the diecast swap meet, and everything about it suggested it should do pretty well on the track. The shape, it's got decent size standard Hot Wheels wheels. I don't remember it weighing too much or being all that heavy, and it doesn't feel particularly heavy when I pick it up, but it was in our races and it didn't win. I don't remember it winning the tournament, but that doesn't mean much because it could have won the tournament and then lost to the fastest in fleet car, whatever that was at the time. Probably the BlitzSpeeder, maybe the Gazella, but let's take a look at it in the wind tunnel. The Avus Quattro. It is a metal on plastic car. And let me get it lined up, straightened up in this wind tunnel so we can see what's happening here. And lock this down. Kind of has that a bit of an Audi look to it. I believe that this is an actual car, but so we're at cruising speed, 67 miles per hour. That air is hitting right at the front, flowing up over the top. Not bad at all, but let's go ahead and push this speed up. We're up to 107 miles per hour. Airflow is still good over the top. Haven't seen the air really breaking away from the body of the car. Not like we saw with the hot wired and that other Porsche that we had in earlier, where that airflow just completely broke away from following the lines of the car, and that's just no good. Can't have that happen. And we're at 134. We're going to push this up to 147. And I mean, it's not as clean on the back end as the BlitzSpeeder was, but definitely not bad. The air is at least not breaking away from the roof line and flowing up into the atmosphere. Pushing this up to 161 miles per hour. Yeah, this is not too bad at all. Not sure, I don't remember when this car raced, but if you wanted to search for this car, if you wanted to see this car race, all of the old episodes of AtTheTrack.live are on our YouTube page under the Live tab, and if you select that, you'll be able to go back and check out whichever cars catch your eye and push this up to 174 miles per hour. And it's looking pretty solid. Now, if I had my choice, I know which one I'd go with, but I don't think there's necessarily a bad pick among these two. I just think there's one of these cars I'd be much more interested to see return to the track. Both of these cars have raced in the past, but for whatever reason, depending on the matchups, they didn't take the fastest in fleet title. But that could be different this time around. So we will see which of these cars that he goes with. So we have the Avus Quattro. We have the Chaparral 2. Christopher has already gone with the hot wired. He's sticking with that one. And we will find out if there is a car that you are going to want to race on Saturday. All you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, select, choose your car, and you will be taken to the first of 6 pages containing the 1,039 different Hot Wheels cars that we have in our fleet. You can scroll through, take a look at the car, and then when you find the number of the car that you want to pick, let's say it is this 86 Monte Carlo SS. Well, you can click on it. You can take a closer look at the picture, and then all you have to do is take the number of the car, in this case 444, drop that in the chat. I will pull the car, and just like that, you are entered into our AtTheTrack.live racing tournament. So, join us every Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific, YouTube and Twitch. We can't do the whole, we can't do all of the races on our Instagram feed because we really do need the wide format, and I am going to look into possibly creating a vertical feed at the same time, so it'd be the same feed that we have on Saturdays, but it would be turned vertically. So if someone wanted to watch on Instagram, just rotate your phone, and there you go. Rough Shot is going with 501, which I'm happy about. It is going to be the Chaparral 2. I wanted to see this car back on the track for some time, and just had to wait for somebody to pick it. Rough Shot has picked it. This car is going to be back. It was definitely one of the most interesting cars that we've had on our track over the years, and it will be coming back Saturday. What other cars will be racing? Well, I don't know. I've got to go into storage and pull some cars. I've got cars, still got a bunch of cars in this most recent kind of Target haul that are in there. Some of those are probably going to be introduced on Saturday. And as always, we just have fun racing Hot Wheels cars on Wednesdays, what we just did. We get into a little bit more of the science behind how the cars perform and why they perform in the ways that they do with the wind tunnel, and checking out the aerodynamic profile. If you want even more information about our science program, maybe you have a student, an organization, a special event coming up, all you have to do is check out All About Aerodynamics, aerodynamics.com, or you can go to our Instagram account, AtTheTrack.live, and all the information you need is going to be there. And I can let you know how we can bring our program to your school or your organization or your special event. So that is All About Aerodynamics. This is Wind Tunnel Wednesday. And for At The Track Live, I am Coach James. And until... Oh, wait, let's see. Let me... Just about to sign off. Christopher says, can we race the John Force Peak car on Saturday? That is this car. This is a phenomenal car. We can race it if somebody picks it. Somebody has to pick it. I don't just bring the cars out because we're trying to crank through. But if somebody picks it, I will be more than happy to put it on the track. And yeah, so I will see you on Saturday at the track live. See you at the races.